Okay, so you shouldn't change the user story. See, that's what the whole point is, right? What I'm saying is you shouldn't mess with user story. It's not your job. Okay, I found today again, somebody changed this. Okay, changing user story is not your job unless you're doing as a BA. But this is not a BA class. This is QA. Okay, so you don't want to change any other things. Okay, if you are changing it, that will become more bigger issue than actually you opening the issue. Okay, so it's not a good idea to change any user story, anything. Your job is only limited to creating test cases, executing the test cases, reporting the defects. You can delete your test cases, that's okay, but then you are responsible for doing that. Okay, you have to answer your boss, why did you delete it? But you're not supposed to delete somebody else's work. Okay, that's not acceptable. Okay, that will be taken very seriously at work. Okay, so make sure you don't do this. Okay, this is I think this is the second time. First time I told that don't do it. Second time I'm again saying, if you want third time I'll say it again, but it's up to you. Okay, it's up to you how you want to manage, because you're the person who will be doing the job, not me. So it's your responsibility at the end of the day. Now you cannot say that I didn't told you, you don't know. Okay, if you don't know, you have to look around, you have to see the classes, you have to see, but you cannot say, come back to me, you never told me. Okay, so you cannot do that. Okay, yeah. Anyone have any questions? Okay, so that's the important thing. You shouldn't delete anyone's work. Okay, you shouldn't even edit it. Okay, it's not your job. So I'm seeing this, guys are editing it. Not good. So, and I'm also sending the emails, and I don't think you guys are reading instructions. Okay, you have to follow these instructions when you are trying to do the homework. Okay, so so here you said it, don't do it. Okay, and don't even edit it. So it's not your job to edit any user stories. Okay, so follow the instructions properly. Okay, you shouldn't mess up with someone else's work. Okay. Okay, so we have a few. Okay, good. Yeah, the screenshot is important. Okay, it's good. You have to always make sure this have to attach a screenshot. Okay, it's up to you. I mean, I take this optional. Okay, I'm just trying to make you understand, but it's up to you. It's optional, completely optional. But only the difference it makes you how you convince your bosses. That's the only thing that you have to do. I don't care. You're at work. You're opening defects. You're not opening defects. It's not my problem, right? I don't care, but the only end of the day, what matters is how you convince your boss. Your boss will ask you questions, many questions, not one. So how you're good in answering the questions is up to you. Okay, so all these are optional. Okay, you don't want, you will just create some random defect and you assign it to developer. That's okay. Developer understands completely. That's fine. But at the end of the day, how you are able to convince your boss is that you have to work on it. Okay, so these are all options. Okay, it's optional. Okay, so here. So we'll go to, so we completed this. Oops, that is. Okay, so we completed various methodologies on 6th, right? I'm sorry, 16th. So since 19th was holidays, so today, we'll go to Yeah, sixth class. So today is sixth class. Okay, so we talk about this, various methodologies. Okay. So, I'm sorry, not various methodologies. We talk about this agile. Okay. So, here, agile is pretty broad term. Okay, if somebody asks you, in what methodology you're working on, you see you say these agile, that means it's pretty broad term. Okay, so nobody will be knowing what you're trying to do, what you're actually doing, because this agile involves many other sub methodologies. Okay, just like Scrum. So today we'll discuss about the Scrum. Okay. Scrum, what is Scrum? Scrum is the iterative and incremental process, okay, in Agile. So it's an iterative and incremental process. And there are other frameworks, okay, there's like Kanban, okay, it's like XP, that's extreme programming, okay, and RAD, see this RAD is a rapid application development. So all these are parts of the Agile, okay, so you might be using any one of them at work or all of them. It depends. Okay, it depends how the project is. But Scrum is more famous, and the most important thing is if you know Scrum, the rest of all will be similar, not same, similar. That means the process remains same. What you're trying to do. Okay, so that's the thing. So before going to here, right? Before going to actually what it is, we want to know some terminologies here. Okay, so in Agile, the terminologies is very important. Okay, if you don't know the terminologies, then you don't know. Okay. So let's go here. So this is here we go. Okay, so we start from roles. Okay, roles and responsibilities. Who what are the roles in Agile? Okay, so here now there's something called product owner. Okay, who is product owner in waterfall or any other methodology? You call it as business analyst. The business analyst in other methodology is called product owner in Agile. Okay, now responsibilities changes. Okay, these are the responsibilities. It changes. It's not necessary. It has to be same as what in our previous methodologies. Okay, so make sure you. The important thing is you also have to see what the responsibility of product owner is. As a matter of fact, any other role you have to know what the responsibility is. Why? Because Agile is still developing. Okay, the people don't know what's the responsibility of their in their own job. So people don't know their own job responsibility. So you have to know. Okay, so that's the thing. So product owner is business analyst in other methodologies. Okay, what it does, it's this is the job of documenting all this work, like creating this product backlog and documenting. So all those creating user stories, there's all those user stories so far we worked, right? Various user stories. And it's a job of a product owner. Okay, those guys are responsible, for creating all those things. Okay, so that is product owner. Okay, I hope you guys can hear it properly because it has something which I'm not able to, move it. So okay, so because nobody answered it, so okay, so that's the product owner. Then you have development team. Okay, so development team. So we know development people. Okay, so you will be having other developers like Java developers, web developers, HTML developers, and so on. Okay, so a lot of people, ETL developers. Okay, So it's not necessary all the development team will be in one team. It may be out of the team, or they may in the agile, they may not be agile, they might be in different methodologies. But okay, so that's how. So let's say if we even agile, normally it's supposed to be less than 10 members. Okay, less than 10. Let's say 6 members. Okay, so in that you have this. One is Scrum Master, okay, and the other is 2 developers. Okay, let's say 3 developers. No, one BA. So BA will not be with you. It will be somewhere else, and one tester. Okay, so 4 developers, 1 testers, 1 Scrum Master. Okay, so you can have 4 developers, can be 2 Java developers, 1 ETL developer, and so on. So you might have such. So small team, the more better. If if it's in agile and you're having the big team, then you have to be really careful because things will be getting more chaos. Okay, so you don't want large team, but still they might be there. Okay, so you need to work with them. So that's the developer team. Okay. So if you see this, there are no testers. See this, in agile they are trying to remove these testers. See this. So, but it's not happening. Okay, because the reason, right? So what this, these people say, your boss will say, no, we don't need any testers. Developers will be doing testing. Why do we need these testers? So that's not right. Here, even if developer want to test, let's say the developer want to test, they will test based on business perspective. So I told this before. Even if the developer has to test, they will be testing business perspective. And if testers have to test, they will be testing on the customer point of view. Okay, they will be doing business point of view. That means any code, any loop backs, any whatever internal code. So all these things can only be taken care of developer people. Okay, but they cannot really do the actual customer, how the customer look and feel, and those buttons and all those things is only done by the tester. So that's the thing. If your boss says something like this, no, we don't need any testers, our developers will be doing testing. So you have to make them understand. So even if the developer is doing, they will be doing testing on a business point of view. And if the testers is doing, they will be doing on the customer point of view. Okay, customer service oriented, and this is developer is business point oriented. Okay. So really you cannot eliminate developers as such. I'm sorry, testers. Okay, you have to be, the testers will be there. If you're testing. So next is Scrum Master. Okay, now it's very important to understand what the roles and responsibilities of Scrum Master as a tester. You have to know it. So this is the thing what happened. So let's see what's a Scrum Master here. Okay, let's try to understand what is Scrum Master. Project manager in waterfall methodology is called Scrum Master in Agile. Okay, I hope everyone makes sense here. Okay, project manager in any other waterfall methodology is called Scrum Master in Agile. And so these are the responsibilities. Okay, these are responsibilities of Scrum Master, and you have to go through these responsibilities. It's very important. So what happened, right? Let me give you an example why you have to know this responsibility, although you are not a Scrum Master. See what happened, right? Now I opened a defect. Okay, so I opened a defect here, and I went to the developer, said that, hey, you know what? I opened a defect. Can you fix that? Okay. So because this is a priority and it has to go by next week, and the developer said, no, I don't have time for you. You have a lot of work. We are working on production issues, and we don't have any time to fix your defect. Okay, so I'll stop by tomorrow. And the same thing happened for 3 days. Okay, same thing happened for 3 days now. Now, if you're not, going to fix that issue, then it will be on you. Okay, so you have to do something, right? So what I went, when the Scrum Master said, hey, you know what, this is the defect, can you coordinate with the developer team and fix, because the developer team is busy with production. But we also have to make sure that this has to go, because this is also priority. So the Scrum Master was confused, they don't know what to do. So what happened is, next got a call from my boss. My boss said, why did you get this defect to the Scrum Master? So valid question, right? So valid question. why did you give defect to the Scrum Master? So I said, based on my experience, Scrum Master is a bridge between the developers and testers. Okay, Scrum Master is a bridge between the developers and testers. That means if developers doesn't do, Scrum Master has to coordinate that, to resolve that issue. Okay, so that's the thing. So here is the thing. So here is what I'm trying to say. Helping the Scrum team to avoid and remove impediments to its progress, whether internal or external to the team. So that's the responsibility of Scrum Master. Does it make sense? So that's why, you have to know a little bit on these responsibilities, because you have to be very careful when you're doing the work. Okay, so you have to make sure, no, you can also, your boss can ask the same question, right? Why are you doing this? So in that case, you know what? Actually, this is the job of a Scrum Master. So next one, nothing happened, right? So they figure it out. Okay, it's really the job of Scrum Master. If not, so give them this URL, say them, hey, you know what? This is the responsibilities. You can go through whenever you have free time. Okay. And as a matter of fact, my boss was actually certified Scrum Master. Now you can understand how it is. Okay, so it's actually developing. Agile is actually developing now. Some of the people don't know. Some people know something. So even Scrum Master didn't know until I told them. Okay, so that's that's why you have to little bit get some understanding on this. So these are the roles and responsibilities of the team. Okay, so there's something called impediment. So I didn't see here impediment. So there's something called impediment. So impediment is is something. It's called issue. So it's an issue. It can be a defect. It can be a coordination. It can be any other issue from other team, or something which is missed. Something that has to be added to this. The sprint, or all those things. So that is called impediment. Impediment means something that is stopping you to do your work. Okay, that's called impediment. Okay, so that's the thing. That's the job of a Scrum Master, to remove impediments to its progress. Okay. Okay. So any questions so far in this? So these are these roles and responsibilities. Okay, product owner, developer team, Scrum Master. So pen testers will be there. If not, then you have to really recommend that you add testers, because if no testers, then there will be a lot of production issues. That's the point. And and the point is, business will be losing more if the issues are shown up at the late stage. If the issues are shown at development process, that's okay. It's got fixed and this is good. If the issues are shown at testing process, that's too okay. That's why they hire you, right? You have to open the issues, and this is the where you have to open the issue. And if there are too many issues in regression point of view, then QA guys are caught up saying, why this is coming in regression? Why not in QA, right? So that will be the case. And if there are issues in the production, then that's really not good, because it's not only gives spending more money on the project. Business is not just spending more money, but they are losing their recognition. Because good company, say yeah, this is good, great website, great, I try to order this and get it on time and everything, but there are issues and it's something gone wrong, right? It's not just losing money, but companies also losing recognition. Okay, so that's not good. So that's the thing, it's important. Okay, so let's go to. Okay, so let's talk about these artifacts. Okay, we'll talk about these artifacts. So artifacts, this is something called product backlog. This is called product backlog. Okay, and what is product backlog? Is a high level requirements. It's a very high level requirement. Okay. Now let's say you want to start writing your test cases. Now, if somebody gives you product backlog, that doesn't work because this is non-technical. It's a story. You can only write test cases based on the user story, but not on product backlog. Okay, it's a set of requirements. Okay, it can be, the high-level set of requirements can be one-line statement in MS Excel. Okay, that high level. That means, they will be saying, okay, design GMR online. So you don't know what's the features, what is the functionalities, you don't know where is the button there, which button to click, which URL to move, all those things, right? You don't know because there is one line statement and that's called product backlog. Now what the product backlog has to is break it down into various, various sprints. Okay, so we'll talk about the sprint. Okay, so that is product backlog. Okay, product backlog is list of requirements. So this is list of requirements, and it's a very high level document. Okay, high level document prepared by the product owner. Okay, that's the product owner, right? This is the name. So he's the owner, he or she is the owner of this product backlog. Okay. So we go to sprint backlog. So before going to sprint backlog, there's something called sprint. Okay, sprint. What is sprint? It's a time. It's a time box unit. So one sprint, lasts for 15 days, 15 to 30 days. Let's take 1 month. Okay, let's take 1 month. One sprint, 30 days. That means every month new sprints. Okay, every month a new sprint goes. Okay, so that's called sprint. Okay, it's a time box unit. Okay, and every month a new sprint means every month there will be some 10. Let's take an example, 10 user stories, and you have to complete that in 1 month. Okay, so that's the sprint, and the sprint backlog is the what you have to complete in this sprint. Okay, the backlog which has to be completed in this sprint is called sprint backlog. Okay, or it can be also which you're not doing from 2-3 sprints, then that is also called a sprint backlog. That means it's waiting. You have to finish that particular sprint. Okay. So what? Let's go here. Let's talk about this. Okay. So if you see here, so what? This is a product backlog. Okay. You see this? The kind of boxes, kind of things. You see this? Okay. Now this is. So it's kind of backlog item. So that is product backlogs that, let's say this is 4. Okay, 4. That means it has to divide it in chunks of work. Okay, 4 boxes, right? 4 boxes, right? Then you have this. It's divided into sprint backlog. Okay, the sprint backlog. Let's say each set of block is divided into. Okay, 4 set of sprints. That means for each block has to go, that has to go into 4 sprint. Okay, that means 4 months. Okay, for example, 4 months. And similarly, other blocks too. So that means each block, if we take roughly for the 16 months. So this whole product backlog to complete will be 16 months. Okay, it's an approximate figure. It's not necessary. This has to be just for an example. Because each sprint can be 15 days, it can be 30 days. It's up to the project how they are doing. Okay, so based on that you have to do. But for an example, so this is how you have to do. So that means each backlog is divided into sprint backlog. And what is each sprint contains? Each sprint contains user stories. Okay, how many? Okay, so each sprint contains user stories. Okay, how many user stories? It's again, it depends, 10 user stories, 15 user. So you don't want to go more than 10 user stories. Okay, the reason because if you want more user stories, there's more work, you want to divide that into different teams. That means now there will be 2 teams, the Scrum, right? So each team will have their own scrum master, each team will have their own developer, each team will have their own testers, okay? Something you want to like that. But if it is less than 10, then that's good, because you will maintain the proper way of doing it, okay? Because if you are using too many things, it just ends up in chaos, because you don't know who is doing what, and it gets a lot of work to the scrum master, and scrum master will not able to coordinate, okay? A lot of work for the scrum master, so that will end up in I don't want too much of work. So right. So in that case, if there are more than 10, 15 user stories, you want a different team to work on it. Okay. So this is how it goes in the sprint, 30 days. Okay, and then you deliver the product. So this is how the Scrum works. Okay, this is how the Scrum works. Any questions so far? Okay, so okay, so let's go to the next. Okay, so we'll talk about various meetings. Okay, so various meetings. You'll be having a lot more meetings here. Okay, and just as I said, sprint. Sprint is actually a time-box unit which has to be completed in some specified amount of time. Okay, so that's called sprint. Now there is something called sprint planning. This is now here we are going to various types of meetings. Okay, sprint planning. So here, what you should do is, you actually, um, you have this voting system here. Okay, so what happens is, once the Scrum Master, so sprint planning is organized by the Scrum Master, and here the Scrum Master takes a one, after the other user stories, and yeah. So does anyone have any questions?
Hello, sir. Sorry for the interruption. I have sent you a couple of messages regarding my queries. Could you answer those, please?
Yeah, I'm not able to hear anyone. Does anyone?
Hello, sir. Can you hear us?
Yeah, actually, sound is very low. Even somebody is talking, I'm not able to hear. So yeah, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, if you have any question, you can, ping in the chat. So there is a chat option here. Okay, you can ping it, and if not, if not, we can take this offline. If you have any more than one question, okay, you can reach me out or send me an email. So we can set up this meeting, and we can have it, because this has some issues. Is That's a problem, so that's the only thing. Okay, yeah, you can, ping it in the chat so I will be able to see. Okay. 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 So sprint planning. Okay. So what happens, right, in this? So all the user stories are organized, and they will, make sure that which user story will be going into this sprint. Okay. So all this will be, done by the Scrum Master. Okay. What are the priority user stories and what it has to be? Priority one should go first, right? So which one will be going to this sprint, which will be going to the another sprint. So all this will be done in the sprint planning session. Okay. And so here, this is a voting kind of thing. Okay, so what happens? Scrum Master says, okay, so this is the user story we are trying to do. Now, how much time will this take? So developer will say 5 days. That 5 days means 3 days for development and 2 days for testing, not 5 days only for development. Okay, 3 days for development and 2 days for testing. So what this Scrum Master will say, no, we don't have time for this. Okay, it has to be done the 3 days. Why don't you take this 3 days, 2 days for development, 1 day for testing? Now this has to be supported by some other person, like if there is dev lead or someone who will be saying no, or sometimes the manager. I've seen the manager pretty technical, but managers are not required to attend this meeting, but unless they are technical good enough and they know what they are trying to do. So that's the reason. So now, if the manager says no, we need this 5 days. The reason because there's a lot of coordination, there's a lot of Java work that has to be done. So we need a different team all together to do this. So we need this more time. So Scrum Master agrees with that manager and said, okay, we are going with this 5 days. Okay. Now here, of course, developer will be running the show because the tester, you may not have this knowledge. Okay, it's not required. I mean, if you read something, you might know what you're trying to do, but otherwise, mostly developers will be coordinated because they know what's happening here and what they have to do. Okay, so all these user stories are discussed, and once they are done, okay. So once they are finished, once the user story sorting of user story is done, then this sprint will be going with this number of user stories, and once they have assigned this who is the developer and who is the tester, so all those will be completing in the sprint planning session. And this is done for every start of the sprint. That means if there's every month a new sprint, then there will be every month a new sprint planning session. So they have to do 10 user stories is going into this sprint, next 10 user stories is going to the another sprint, and this all has to be done by the Scrum Master. Scrum Master organizes and all those things. Does it make sense? So here not everyone are invited. Okay, developers, testers, managers are not really invited, but unless they are technical and they know what they are doing. So in that case they are okay. But other than that, managers are not really invited in sprint planning session. Okay. So let's go to the next one. And this starts from this lasts for 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours, and don't make sure that you're taking your lunch time. So it will be ending by 3 p.m. or something like that, 2:30 or 3 p.m. Okay, so it starts from I think from 10 a.m. 10 a.m. to 3 or so that's the sprint planning. It takes like almost 4 hours. Okay, so they will be discussing everything, what's going on and what it has to be done. Okay, that's sprint planning. And then you have this daily scrum. So this daily Scrum meeting is, so here what they talk about this, right? So daily Scrum means they talk about the 4 things. What have you done yesterday? Okay. And what are you going to do today? And what are you going to do tomorrow? Okay, these 3 things. And the 4th one is, what are the impediments that is stopping you to do the work? That's the daily Scrum. That's what you talk about in daily Scrum. Okay, what have you done yesterday? What are you going to do tomorrow? Sorry, what are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? And what is the impediments that is stopping you to do the work? Okay, so that's all is done in the daily Scrum meeting. Okay, and it should be only 15 minutes. Okay, if it's going more than 30 minutes, then you're doing something wrong. Okay, it should be only for 15 minutes, not more than that. Now I can see this. I'm so long I was not able to see this chat window. Okay, great. Great. So somebody, okay, so I'll go through these questions. There's a lot of questions, okay. So this was not able to, see this. Now I'm able to see this. Okay, good. So what makes Scrum more popular? Okay, somebody asked a question. What makes Scrum more popular? So the Scrum is more popular because this is a lot of meetings, and this is the kind of ceremonial kind of thing, but that means a lot of people are gathering here and a lot of people are, so that's the reason why Scrum is more good. And it's also, so that's the important thing, because you get to talk with a lot of people. You see here, there's a lot of, people involved here, so that's the reason Scrum is more, popular. Okay, so let's go to. Okay, so somebody asked the question, right? Number of backlogs should be same as sprint backlog? No. Somebody asked the question, right? Here's the thing. Okay, let's not mess with this. Get screwed up. Okay, you see this? It's not. No, here it's shown as 4 boxes, but it's really not required. It's just an example here. Okay, number of. Okay, you're seeing this. This is 4. That's why it has to be 4. No. So, okay, let's see. So some people were asking, right, this is the container like 4, so this is also 4. No, it is not necessary that product backlog should be equal to sprint backlog, because product backlog is a set of requirements. Okay, it's very high level. It may increase, it may decrease as per the product owner. Okay, so it's not really necessary that it will be same. Okay. And this is completely, it's different. So product backlog is completely different from sprint backlog. Okay. Sprint backlog is what the priority of user stories has to go in this sprint. Okay, that's the more important thing. Okay. So this chat was actually blocked for so much time. That's why, see, that's the problem, right? Whenever I say some question, nobody answers it. So now that's the thing. Now still, like, can everybody hear, and just somebody has to say yes, no, I don't know, right? You guys should be proactive. So because of that, I tried to click on this, and this was blocked, and that's the reason I was not able to open this chart for a long time. Okay. So, okay, actually that's supposed to be a bug, so never mind. Okay, so let's go here again. People who think it's fast. So let's talk about the sprint planning. Sprint planning is the way you actually discuss about how many user stories has to go in this sprint. Okay, one sprint. Let's take an example. 30 days. As shown here in the diagram. 30 days, and you have to plan. Not you. Scrum Master will be planning how much time will it take. How much user stories and all those things. What the priority of the user story has to go in this sprint. So all this is discussed in the sprint planning session. Okay, and here is a voting system. That means for a particular user story, if some, let's say, Scrum Master will say, okay, how much time will you want? And uh, the developer says 5 days. That means 3 days for the developer, 2 days for testing. Now somebody has to support that, let's say, lead, dev lead, or dev manager will say, no, it's a lot of work is required, it's a lot of Java work, a lot of objects and classes has to be moved, so we need this 3 days. So in that case, the Scrum Master agrees with it and moves forward. Normally, developer will run the show because they know a lot of things, what's happening and what it has to be done. But if you are a tester, it doesn't matter. If you're knowledgeable about the application, what's going on, and what you are supposed to do, you can also talk about in this sprint planning session. Okay. And let's go to the next daily Scrum meeting. So what's this daily Scrum? So daily Scrum is you have to stand-up meeting. It's also called stand-up meeting. You see this here. This is Scrum Master. I'm not sure who's Scrum Master, but and developers and testers and business analysts, and that means product owners. Product owner will be there. And this daily Scrum meeting is organized by the Scrum Master. Okay, and they see what's going on with it and what's happening. Okay, so this is what they will be discussing. 4 important things. What they talk about is what have you done yesterday? What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? And what is the impediments that is stopping you to do the work? Okay, what is the impediment? Impediments, anything like risk, issue, delayed dependency, assumption, proved, unfounded, and so on, or defect, bug, or anything else. Anything which is stopping you to do the work. It's called impediment. Okay, any questions? Okay, good. Okay, so let's go to the next meeting. So these are all meetings. So far 2 meetings, sprint planning. So there's something called sprint grooming, which is not shown here. So it's not there here. Sprint grooming, which is, let's say if you are not completed sprint planning, or if there's still more work to do, they go with sprint grooming session. Not really required if you're going in a proper organized way, but if you're not, then you also require the sprint grooming session. Okay. That is similar to sprint planning. Same thing they will be discussing and reorganizing that user stories based on the priority. Okay, okay, this is not this sprint, it has to go to the next sprint. This is the user story, it has to go. So all this will be done, sprint grooming. If you want reorganization of the user stories, then you want to go to sprint grooming. But not if sprint planning is done properly. Okay. Okay, so now next is sprint review and retrospective. So in sprint review, so this is at the end of the sprint. Let's say the sprint has been ended and you want to review this. Okay, now these are 3 things they will be discussing about it. What went good, what didn't go good, and how can we improve which didn't go good. These 3 important things that we'll be discussing in the sprint review and retrospective meeting. Okay, and this again, all these meetings are organized by the Scrum Master, not you, not developer, no anyone else. Scrum Master is responsible for holding all these meetings. Okay, any more questions in this sprint? in the meeting. So there are 3 meetings. One is sprint planning, which will be starting the start of the sprint. The next is daily scrum, which is every day. It starts from 9 a.m., 9 to 9:15. Max. Don't go beyond 30 minutes. Okay. You see here, it's only 15 minutes. That's it. And then you have the sprint review and retrospective meeting, which is at the end of the sprint. That means that sprint was completed. You want to see how the sprint is good. Scrum Master want to know and how can you improve that sprint, right? How can you improve the performance based on the script, based on that particular sprint? Okay, how we can go good and how we can improve that. So they will be requiring all this feedback from all of this, from like developers and testers and even themselves. Scrum Master will say their own opinion and then how the sprint is there, and that's how they do. Okay, and how we can improve moving forward. So that's what they do in sprint review and retrospective. Okay, so let's go to the next one then. So graphs, right? So there are various graphs here. Okay, so your burn down chart. So we already know about this, right? Let's see here. The people who didn't use Rally, okay, so they will not be knowing these graphs. Okay, so there's a lot of graphs here. So we already discussed in this Rally. Let's go back here and see. So if you go to this report section, right? If you go to the reports and see. You see this iteration, burn down, iteration. So these are all plotted for you. Okay. So all these graphs, the similar thing here. This is burn down chart. This is sample burn down chart. Okay. Now this is plotted for x-axis is number of days, and the remaining effort is in the y-axis. Okay. So the green color, you see this. So you see this green color, right? So this green color is the ideal burn down chart. That means ideally it should go like that, but it's not really necessary, and it doesn't go that way. So that's the reason you have these ups and downs. See, there's ups and here, there's downs here. So that's how, because what happens, let's say if you found some defect or some issue, and you have to work on this issue, that gets delayed. Okay, so that's how it's ups and downs. Okay, so this is burn down chart. Okay, this is plotted number of days in the x-axis and remaining hours in y-axis. And then similarly, you have this burn up chart too, and we have this. So all this. So all this, here is it's automatically, done for you. Okay, you're not doing anything here. Okay, yeah. Traditionally, you used to do, plot this big graphs there. Use traditionally, used to this plotter. Is not ordinary printer doesn't work. You have to this plotter and take that and put a stick to the walls. But in this Rally, everything is online. Okay, you see this. You don't have to plot anything. You don't have to do anything. Based on your user story, based on that, it automatically. So to fix it, something happened. Okay, so based on that, okay, you can get. Oh, here you go. This is good. Defects priority, maybe this should work. Iteration. Okay, good. Okay, so you're not plotting here. Okay, so see this, it's automatically, this rally is generating for you and you are getting this. Okay, so somebody asked, right, does this graph shows the progress of project in general or in the progress of the defect? Okay, so this defects priority shows the progress of defect, and if you want progress of the project, then you want to check burn up. So here's this thing, right, burn up chart, not burn up exactly, burn down chart. Okay, you want to see this burn down chart and see how the project is moving. See this, these many days it was involved and what we are trying to do here, how the graph is going. So this actually shows more of the project. Okay, and that which I shown you, that will be only for defects. Okay, so that's the thing, you have graphs so that you can plot it. So you don't have to plot it, you just go to the rally and check it out. Let's say you're not using rally, of course. Most of the time you will not be using rally, or you may or you may not. So in that case, yes, you have to plot it, or if there's have any other options or any other tool, then you have to use that and generate these graphs. Okay. So again, you are not doing this. Scrum Master is responsible for generating this, charts. Okay. Okay. So here, let's see this traditional way of doing this. Okay. So now previously there used to be a board, board like this, something like this, and this is divided into 4 or 5 columns. See here. Okay, these are the 4 columns. This is a story. This is to do, and this is a progress, testing, and this is the sprint end sum. But really, we don't require this as such because, and why not? Because if you see here in Rally, if you are using Rally, then you don't require this, because all this, right, is actually done here. We have done this. Let's quickly see here what we have done. See here, task. So that's the importance of the task. Okay, this like from defined you're moving to progress, and from progress to completed. You see this, all you're doing here, so you don't really require this, but you have to know because this is the traditional, and if you're going into some traditional work, then you have to do this. Okay, and this stories. Okay, so these are the user stories. Okay, you see this one, and then numbers. You see here numbers. That means that requires that much time. Okay, maybe there's a time or something else, but these are the user stories. Okay, these are the user stories with these. Okay, so all these are user stories, and this is all put here. And to do, once it gets to do, that means the first person who will be starting will be developer, not a tester. Okay, you cannot start testing, the development is not completed. So to do is always the first thing will be taken by the developer, okay, not by the tester. Now let's say they take some sticky notes like this, sticky notes, and write down what they're trying to do and how much days is there to do on that. Let's say 3 days, right? The developer said 5 days, that means 2 days for testing, 3 days for development, 3 days. They put some mark here, like kind of this, 2, and next day they will strike that and put 1 day is over, right? So they don't put this 2, and then again strike that, again this 1. Okay, so that's how they do on the sticky notes. Okay, all this will be performed on the sticky notes. Okay, you see the sticky notes. So these always are, taken by the developer. First thing, developers. Testers don't start with it. Okay. Okay. So next you have this progress. So once this to do is completed, they move the sticky note to progress. That means they are working on it. They might require more time. They might require less time. Okay. So all those things will be done in the progress. Okay. These are all the sticky notes. And once it's done, so what does this they do is they take the sticky note of the developer and put it in here. That means development is completed. Now the testing starts. Okay. Now this is the blue color. Maybe the testers will be having this different sticky note like purple color or something else other than blue, because I have to know right who is doing what, and so this probably will be a different color, but doesn't matter. Okay. Once you use this, okay, tester starts and tester puts it in the status in progress. That means they're working on it. And once it's good, testing is completed. Once you put it here, and it's completed. So this is so there are a lot of people, right? This many user stories. That means at least 3 developers, one tester, one scrum master will be there here for doing all this. A lot of user stories, right? So that's how, this is a traditional way of doing it. This is a traditional when you used to do when there is no online system, but now we don't really require it because Rally takes care of everything. You see this define, from define you can move your progress, from progress to completed. So that's what this task is all about. Okay. So of course you want to put is this parent, which user story does it belongs to, and see what you're trying to do here and how much time is taken you update here. Okay, what's the estimated and what to do, how much to do. So here it's in hours. Okay, here we are taking in hours, but this is actually they are taking in the days. Okay, so it's a little bit different from traditional, but the similar work. Okay, process remains same. So this is how agile works. So this is more for a Kanban or Scrum. Scrum is good. This works for Scrum. Kanban is a little different. It's like a Scrum, but you really don't have that meetings. Not meetings. Here we are attending at least 3 to 4 meetings. Okay. Kanban only has one meeting. Okay, and that will be the update of your work, what is going on and what has to be done. Any questions? So of course, at work you may not, it's not necessary you'll be using Rally. Okay, it's not necessary you might use any other tool, it's okay. And there might be some option to generate these reports just like in this, and it can be like that, and you can generate. So most of the tools have this option to generate reports. Okay, so they will be having some burn up chart, burn down chart. So nobody wants to do this manually, because why? Because a lot of resources consumed, and Scrum Master has to work on this to get the plotter and design those graphs, and it's really not a very good idea because it decreases the overall efficiency. So what you're trying to work and how much time you're spending on it, so that decreases the efficiency. So that's the reason most of the tools have this report section, so that you can generate reports automatically. You don't need someone else to do it. So everything is done here, right here. So as far as I know, Jira does that. HPLM has some of the options there. Not HPLM is more for waterfall methodology, so you don't have much of graphs of burn down and burn up chart. But of course, you can prepare your own chart in that too. And Jira has this, and Rally. And not sure about Zephyr. Zephyr has its option, but you can also use various reports. Custom reports. If you have the option for the custom reports, you can generate by yourself. So again, you're not generating. It's mostly so Scrum Master or senior QA, whoever is responsible, they will be doing it. Okay, so this is traditional way of doing owning your user stories and doing all the work. So now no more. I know not everyone uses that. Okay, so it's pretty long. Most of them will be using online generation of reports and online using of user stories. Okay. Any questions so far? So this is pretty much about Agile. So, people who are like fast, let me give the 2 minutes. So what we talk about is, we talk about various roles. So product owner, okay, who is product owner? Business analyst. In waterfall is called product owner in Agile. Okay, who is the development team? We know development team, there will be Java developer, HTML developer and so on. Scrum master, who is Scrum master? Scrum master, project manager in waterfall methodology is called Scrum master in Agile. Okay, this guy is Scrum master. Sprint, so we know what is sprint. Sprint is time box unit, that means time. So it's normally you're talking about time. Here the time is, let's take an example, 30 days, 1 month. Okay, that's called sprint. It's a time, basically it's a time. Here we are doing 30 days. So sprint planning, so these are all meetings. Sprint planning, you plan how to move this user story, how to move forward with it. So all those is done in the sprint planning. Daily Scrum, this is kind of update what I'm trying to do and what how we are going to move forward. Okay, and then and any issues, yeah, I have to update in daily Scrum meeting. And sprint review and retrospective is like how the sprint went and how we can improve on that. So that's a sprint review. And that's pretty much. And artifacts of the product backlog, that means chunk of work. So that's a chunk of work, right? That is, it's non-technical. So this is, product backlog is non-technical. Your boss might say, okay, this is the product backlog, start writing test cases. Now, you cannot write test cases based on product backlog. You can only write test cases based on user stories. Product backlog is way more high level, okay, because it doesn't contain any technical information. It doesn't know what is buttons, what's the user, what's the screenshot, images, what's the URL, and all those things you don't know in product backlog because it's just a story. It's kind of story. You're writing this GMO Online has this and GMO Online doesn't have this and all those things. Okay, so that's the product backlog. It's a high level set of requirements. Okay. And the sprint backlog is something which has to be go in the sprint, okay, which is backlog from long time, or it's normally job of a scrum master to prioritize which which has to be worked and which should not be worked based on the priority. Okay. And then it's charts. We have various charts, burn down chart and burn up chart, and others too. Okay, there's so many other charts based on this priority, defects, and we have many charts here. Okay, iteration burn down, velocity, and release burn up, story burn down, so on. So that's pretty much on Agile. I mean, this is, yes, a Scrum. It's good for Scrum too, and it's also good for Kanban because Kanban is a little smaller than Scrum. You don't have too many meetings, but what you do, all this process belongs to all Agile. So you can say this is pretty much for Agile. Any questions? Okay. If no questions, can we close this class for today? Sure. So, people who require some help, okay, you can email me at manu@itemmaker.com. Yes. Or call me. Let's say, because I'll be a little bit maybe busy by 2 p.m. So, what, send me an email. So let's see how we can, tomorrow I'm free. We can talk about this tomorrow 2 p.m. or something, or today, never will work. So yeah, that's good. Send me an email so we'll see which time will be worked out and we'll work on this. Okay, if you have any questions, you can see if you can fix any things. Okay. Okay. So can we close this class for today? Okay. Thank you guys.